Hello, Wanzi. I've been watching your videos since COVID, and I finally built up the courage to share one of the scariest experiences of my life. My name is Ezra, and this happened when I was 17 years old. At the time, I lived in Redwood City, California, in a decent-sized neighborhood. Before I start, there are a few important details about me. I'm a 5'8" Native American man with pale skin and long, straight, black hair that reaches my lower back. I usually wear it in a single braid. My girlfriend at the time was also white and had black hair down to the middle of her back, a little shorter than mine. Another important detail is that our living room had a glass door leading directly to the patio and swimming pool. That evening, my mom, my girlfriend, and I were hanging out in the living room. I was sitting on the floor while my girlfriend braided my hair, and my mom was sitting on the couch talking with us. We were all excited because we were getting ready for our 3-year anniversary date. Every anniversary, my girlfriend and I had a tradition where we wore matching outfits. Dress shirts, dress pants, vests, and the same braided hairstyle. Everything felt perfect. Then suddenly, a loud knock slammed against the door. It scared all of us. My girlfriend said she'd investigate while my mom offered to finish braiding my hair so we could leave faster. Since my mom was doing my hair, I couldn't really get up, but I watched my girlfriend open the door. Standing there was a scruffy-looking man. He was tall, around 6 feet, with a balding head, wearing a dirty gray sweater, jeans, and thick work boots. I couldn't hear the entire conversation, but I could tell they were arguing. Then my girlfriend suddenly slammed the door in his face and walked back over to us. When I asked what happened, she told me the man said he had been watching her through the window. Then he told her, "I wanted to do so many things to you." Hearing that instantly pissed me off. I wanted to call the police, but my girlfriend told me to ignore it. She said creeps like that weren't uncommon around here, and by then, he had already driven away. I still wanted to report him, but she convinced me to just focus on our date. A little later, my mom finished braiding my hair, and we were finally ready to leave. That's when I realized something. I forgot to buy my girlfriend a gift. Not wanting to admit that, I lied and told her I forgot my Polaroid camera at a friend's house and wanted to grab it before dinner. In reality, I was walking to Costco, which was only about a 7-minute walk away, to quickly buy some jewelry as a last-minute gift. Nothing happened on the way there, but by the time I was walking back home, it was already dark outside. About halfway home, I was distracted, trying to think of an excuse for why I couldn't find the Polaroid. Then suddenly, someone grabbed my braid from behind and yanked it so hard my head snapped backward. Pain shot through my neck. Then I heard a cold voice whisper in my ear, "I'm gonna do so many things to you." My stomach dropped instantly. It was the same man, the creep who had come to our house earlier. Then he laughed softly into my hair and licked my neck. I don't know what came over me, but I elbowed him hard in the stomach and took off running toward my house. When I looked back, he was chasing me, and he was close. Only a few feet behind me. Luckily, I could already see my house ahead. I sprinted through the patio gate and ran toward the glass door. But before I could reach it, he grabbed my braid again. I shoved backward as hard as I could, and both of us fell straight into the swimming pool. The water was freezing cold. Before I could even process what happened, he climbed on top of me, still gripping my braid, and started forcing my head underwater. I fought as hard as I could. I kicked, thrashed, and clawed at him while trying desperately to surface. Every time I managed to gasp for air, I screamed before he shoved me back under again. My lungs burned. My vision started fading. I genuinely thought I was about to die. Then suddenly, he let go. For a split second, I saw his head slam against the side of the pool. Then everything went black. The next thing I remember was my girlfriend pulling me upward and helping me resurface. Still gasping for air in the pool, my mom and girlfriend explained what happened. They had heard my screams from inside the house. When they ran outside and saw the man trying to drown me, my girlfriend grabbed a baseball bat and hit him in the back of the head while my mom called 911. Then my girlfriend jumped into the pool to pull me up. The police arrived soon after and arrested the man. I was too shaken to even get out of the pool. I just sat there while my girlfriend held me. A few weeks later, a police officer came to our house and told me something that still gives me chills. The man who attacked me was actually a predator the police had been trying to catch. And the terrifying part? He never wanted me. He wanted my girlfriend. Because it was dark and because we had matching outfits and matching braids, he mistook me for her. The police later confirmed he had already assaulted 5 girls before that night. My girlfriend was supposed to be the 6th. Ever since then, my mom has begged me to cut my hair, but I refuse because my wife still loves it. Yeah, wife. I'm 27 now, and I married the same girl. But even after all these years, I still think about that night. Even now, it still gives me goosebumps.
Hello. I would like to share a story my grandma told me when I was a kid. We live in Brazil. My sister and I were talking about ghosts and other stories we heard in the dining room. That's when my grandma came over to us and told us a story about my uncle when he was a kid. At that time, it was pretty safe to let your kid go to school or go home alone. My uncle was going home after a full day at school. It was pretty dark, and he was alone. During his walk, the only thing he could hear was the sound of his keys shaking inside his backpack. They were so loud that one day he was robbed because the thieves thought the keys jingling was the sound of coins. Anyway, he was walking normally until he decided to look behind him because he had this feeling he was being followed. That's when he saw a figure standing not so far away from him. Because of it, he could see what the figure looked like, and it was definitely not human. Their face was weird, and their skin color was gray, but the most prominent part of their appearance was the fact that it had no lower part of their legs, only the upper part. My uncle, of course, was scared, but kept going, thinking it was just his imagination. He kept looking behind to see if the creature was there, and it was. At one point, he couldn't see the creature anymore because he was walking down a hill. The only thing he could hear was the sound of his keys. Again, at one point, he decided to look behind him one last time, and that's when he saw the creature running towards him, using its arms, and it was surprisingly fast. My uncle immediately started sprinting as fast as he could. He didn't dare look behind him again, and unfortunately, couldn't even hear the sound of the creature, only the sound of his keys. Eventually, he arrived at the street his house was on. My grandma was waiting for him outside the house. She saw my uncle running and screaming something. He was probably warning my grandma about the creature. When he finally reached my grandma, he looked behind him and saw no one. My grandma told us that the moment she saw my uncle, she saw no one following him. My uncle told my grandpa, my mom, my aunt, and her about what happened. Surprisingly, she believed him because she thinks a demon was following him that night. And who knows what could have happened to my uncle if he hadn't been paying attention to his surroundings. I normally don't believe these stories, but I found this one interesting and decided to share it with you. Take care.